In 1988, Metallica released And Justice for All, an album boiling with anger toward power, corruption, and class hypocrisy. The title track was not just a thrash outburst, it was a political indictment. It spoke of a justice system that is not blind, but bought and sold. A system where money talks, and the powerful decide who gets crushed beneath the hammer of justice. The halls of justice painted green were not poetic exaggeration. They were an image of decay, an institution supposedly built to serve equality, yet in practice serving money. Justice is portrayed as violated, lost, manipulated. There is no truth, only victory, domination, and power. At the time, Metallica gave voice to a generation watching institutions operate one way for the rich and another for everyone else. That is precisely why the song endured, because the feeling that justice can be bought never really disappeared. The irony of today, when the message becomes the product. 4 decades later, there is an irony impossible to ignore. The very band that once denounced the power of money has become one of the most lucrative music brands in the world. In Athens in 2026, VIP packages reached prices completely detached from the reality of the average fan. Thousands of euros for exclusive platforms, snake pit access, meet and greets, lounges, and privileges that turn a concert into a class-based experience. And that is where the real issue lies. Not that Metallica make money, but that inequality itself becomes the norm. Because who are you really honoring in the end? The fan who sacrifices from what little they have, finding a way to buy a ticket despite barely making ends meet, or the one who can afford to pay thousands just to stand a few meters closer? It was working-class fans who made them legends. Those were the people who stood by them before VIP packages, lounges, and corporate sponsors existed. Yet today, those same people are pushed to the back rows, not because they love the music any less, but because they cannot afford the privilege. That is not a heavy metal ethos. It does not honor the history of the genre, and it certainly does not honor Metallica's own history. Heavy metal was not built on privilege. Heavy metal was born out of factories, poor neighborhoods, and people who had nothing except their anger and their music. It was not born to divide people into premium and basic. It was not born to place barriers in front of the stage. And in the end, Metallica do not need oversized productions to prove anything. A stage and their songs are enough to set the world on fire. They have done it dozens of times. They know it themselves. The real question, the issue is not whether Metallica betrayed their lyrics. The question runs deeper. Can anyone truly remain outside the system they condemn once they themselves rise to the top of it? Perhaps that is the greatest irony of And Justice for All, that it remains relevant not only because it describes the system, but because it reveals how easily even its critics can eventually become absorbed by it.